2018 at 6:30 p.m. Order. Invocations will be given by Gloria James.
Dear Lord, we thank you. We thank you for bringing us through one more day. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. We thank you for all the things that you have done for us, and we thank you for the things that we know that you're going to do for us in the future. We know that you know what we need more than we know ourselves, and we know that you're going to give us the tools and the knowledge to do the job that we have to do before us. These things we ask that you bless those that wanted to be here tonight, but for whatever reason could not. For those that are confined and can't get out as they would like to, we ask that you bless them. So Lord, I guess what I'm saying is just take your arms and put them around all of us. Help us. Bring us to where you want us to be. And Lord, we know we can be the type of people that you like. So we ask that you just bless us all. These things we ask in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Ms. Stone.
Absent. Vice Chair Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Levin.
Here.
Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
We have an addition to the agenda. We're going to have the Alachua County School Board current chair and candidate for District 3, Gunnar Paulson, introduce himself.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the added item.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. We're going to, the Alachua County Court Judge candidate Craig Thomason. The Thomas?
The Thomases.
Okay.
The Thomases.
All right. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Craig D. Thomases. Just got to say it fast. Been spelling a lot on the campaign trail. I am a candidate for Alachua County Court Judge. Just came here to introduce myself. I've been going to most of the city commission meetings and town councils and making my rounds around the county. On a personal level, I've been a resident of Alachua County for 42 years. I came here at age 17 to attend University of Florida and never left. I got my degree in finance in 1980, my law degree in 1983, and began the practice of law at age 24 in Alachua County. Right out of law school, I went into the public defender's office, served there for 4 years, and have been in private practice for 31 years since that time. I've represented people from all walks of life. I've handled all kinds of cases. As a practical matter, I am known, my reputation is as a trial lawyer. When people are in need for somebody to advocate on their behalf in court, I'm there for them. And I've been from doing literally adoptions, I've done family law, I've done lawsuits, but mainly I'm in court doing trial work in the criminal arena and in the criminal courts. For those of you that are not maybe aware, there are 5 county court judges in Alachua County. 3 of them handle criminal court cases exclusively every day. 2 of them handle civil. Civil matters are generally landlord-tenant, lawsuits under $15,000, traffic court. Criminal, misdemeanor cases, and first appearance Monday through Friday. Everyone who gets arrested goes in front of a county court judge for scheduling of bond or release conditions. On the weekends, it rotates with all the judges. In my practice, for some 20 years, even in private practice, I still had contracts with Alachua County where I provided indigent representation with what they call special public defender services. When the public defender has a conflict, I would do work like that. I've been with the same law partner for 31 years. We've been working together literally on a handshake all that time for 2 lawyers. We work on integrity and trust. Our junior law partner has been with us for 17 years. And it's really just been a practice built on reputation, treating people right, listening to their problems, working to solve their problems, understanding the applicable law to their case, and advocating on their behalf in court. I think I'm prepared for this job. I've been arguing in those courts with those judges for a long time now. If I am sworn in January, if the voters hire me and elect me to serve in that capacity, in January I'll come in, I'll have more years as an active member of the Florida Bar than every judge in the entire circuit other than the Chief Judge, Judge Nylon. And so I think I could bring some perspective to the bench and kind of some history. I've learned and grew up with a lot of the what we call the old school judges, Judges Fagan, Tench, Yawn, Carlisle, Tomlinson, and I've worked my way through the practice of law under some of them as my mentors. In addition to practice of law, I'm also a professor, an adjunct professor of law at the College of Law. I teach trial practice. I teach second and third year law students how to try cases in the county court. After they take my class, they become certified by the Florida Supreme Court to be the young assistant state attorneys and assistant public defenders in the county court, trying DUIs, domestic violence, theft, trespass, misdemeanor cases. And quite literally 6 months, 8 months after taking my class, if I'm the judge, they'll be appearing before me, and it's literally another chance and an opportunity to help mentor them, to train them, and to improve the practice of law and the professionalism that's necessary. Just in terms of what I would consider commentary on my practice and on my credentials, really is how my colleagues within the profession have treated me and have accepted me. I've been awarded by the Florida Bar the Meritorious Public Service Award on 2 occasions. There are 2 rating services that the Florida Bar has. I have received and have been awarded the highest ratings, both in legal ability and ethical standards from both rating services. I've been elected as the president of the Inns of Court, which is a group of lawyers, about 100 lawyers and judges put together. We get together once a month. In fact, we met last night. And we deal with issues of professionalism and mentoring of the young lawyers, and we hold people accountable. It's a small enough bar where we all get to know each other and practice before each other on a regular basis. My colleagues up front, son, just on cue. Mr. Walker.
You kept talking so we wouldn't notice they were late, right?
Mr. Walker and I go back quite a few years, 38, I would say.
38 years, that's
so.
Right.
We were classmates in law school, and we were fraternity brothers in a legal fraternity, actually, as well. And so he knows me, knows my practice, knows my reputation. I was mentioning the other lawyers in the community. They've elected me as president of the Inns of Court. I've been elected as president of the Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, again, working on issues of mentoring young lawyers and issues of professionalism within our community. I've been appointed on 2 occasions as the chairman of the Grievance Committee, where we investigate claims and complaints filed against lawyers who have ethical shortcomings, let's say. And our findings ultimately work their way through the courts to the Florida Supreme Court for any discipline that's necessary, or if necessary, based on our findings. You only get to those positions if you have integrity and your colleagues trust your judgment within the practice. I've been active within the community. Some highlights: I've held leadership positions in the Children's Home Society. I was on the board of directors for 6 years in a voluntary capacity, overseeing budgeting for children with needs, going through the dependency court systems and foster system, divorce cases, that kind of thing. I oversaw the construction of and the inception of the Family Visitation Center, which is a really incredible need in our circuit. People go through there. I also was a charter member of the board of directors of Bikers on Parade for the USA, veterans organization, where we do a motorcycle parade. Veterans Day, it's coming up again. It's run by different people. In my tenure, I served with Representative Chuck Clemens, was a charter member as well. A couple other really good people who care about the community and care about veterans. And in my tenure, we raised almost $500,000 for veterans in our community and for the Red Cross. I'm proud of that. I've been married to the same woman for 33 years. She's a lifetime resident, formerly known as Molly Arnett. She grew up in Hawthorne. We've raised 2 strong-willed, independent women, 31 and 27 years of age. One is a graduate of Florida. One is a graduate of Florida State. So we've got our little inter-rivalry in the house. They also happen to be sorority sisters from different schools, so they kind of have a unique relationship. I appreciate y'all for hearing about me. It's kind of unique, and I've gotten comfortable with it, or more comfortable, I guess, as the time goes on. I've been going to court for 35 years arguing for people and on behalf of people. It's never about the lawyer. The lawyer just presents the case, and I've been going around pleading my own case, which is somewhat unusual, but I've come a little comfortable with it. And about 10,000 people have already voted in Alachua County between the vote by mail and the early voting. I got a little bit of a sunburn. I've been, not today, but the past couple of days, standing out there with the signs and waving to folks and really meeting a lot of people in the community like I've done over the course of my career. So I appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, as Craig says, we were fraternity brothers in law school together, and so I have known Craig a very, very long time. His reputation speaks for itself. He has a stellar reputation, stellar trial court. As you can tell, words come very, very naturally and easily to him. And the thing, one of the reasons why I'm supporting Craig is that he's had a lot of life experiences over these 38 years, and he's also had a lot of legal experiences in all segments of the practice of law, in criminal, civil, and child-related issues, or dependency court, all those kind of things, which I think in talking to some of the older judges that we came up under, if you talk to all those old judges, they say, well, to be a judge, you really have to have those kind of broad-ranging experiences, and it helps that he's in private practice, so he knows what it's all about to pay a light bill and to make the payroll and all the kind of pressures that we all have on a daily basis in running our small businesses. He's experienced those things, and so with that breadth of experience, and he'll tell you his opponent is a very good and well-able opponent as well. But with all of that, I have to support Craig as well. He's just an excellent candidate for this position, and he'll make an excellent judge.
Just follow up on two little comments. If you read the Gainesville Sun, which covered the two judicial races going on Sunday, I think the paper came out, it did comment, and I'm very relieved, expected, but it's a very accurate depiction of what really has been a very professional, very civil race between my opponent and I. We're friends, we're colleagues, we teach at the law school together. We came up from the public defender's office. I'm a little bit older, I've been around a little bit longer, but we're going to remain friends on November 7th, and I'm either going to appear before her or she before me, and we're going to move forward, and we are out both asking and seeking this position and seeking your vote. I am going to ask that I be allowed to excuse myself early. I do have another commitment, campaign commitment. Children's Advocacy Center fundraiser is this evening, and I'm going to meet some of my people there. And
Okay.
I appreciate you all having me.
Thank you for
Craig,
coming.
good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And now, current chair of the Alachua County School Board, candidate for District 3, Gunnar Paulson. I've known Gunnar since whenever.
Well, since whenever,
My
right?
husband actually has worked with him for many, many years.
That's right. You can blame her husband for getting me into this job of running for office. My first job when I was president of the teacher union, he was the guy who was my campaign manager. I'm Gunnar Paulson, and I'm current chairman of the Alachua County School Board. Talking about it is my day started today, and out in front of your community school, holding a sign and trying to get people to vote for me, and it's ending here. In between, I've talked to your mayor about 2 hours ago because I had to give him my proxy to vote for me down in our Florida School Board's Insurance Trust. So I appreciated him calling me, telling me what was going on. Now when I get out of here, I've got to text Fisbit and let them know that he has my proxy to vote for me. So, after that, I'm running for Alachua County School Board, District 3. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I came here to play football at the University of Florida a long time ago, back when people my size could play. And but I played on some good teams. I'd give you an idea. I'm 2 years younger than Steve Spurrier, but I will stay healthy while if I get reelected. I have a 4 degrees from the University of Florida in education, culminating with a doctorate in educational leadership in 1997. My wife is a graduate of the University of Florida, and also was a teacher, and taught at Spring Hill Middle School, which I think is the hidden gem in our district. It's one of the best schools anywhere in North Central Florida. And I used to brag about my wife. Of course, it was both her and the students. While she was there every year, her reading scores were the best in the 9-county area. But that's for not just her alone. The students are good kids over there. It's a very nice place to teach. I've been married 51 years to the same woman, the poor lady, and but I'm the lucky man. And I have 2 children. One that's a teacher also. I'm getting her doctorate right now, but they live in Georgia. And I have another daughter that works here in Alachua County. I have 2 grandsons, my younger daughter, that attend Santa Fe High School. So I am still involved with education with children in the school district. I had both, like I said, both my daughters graduated from high school, one from Buchholz, one from Gainesville High School. That's an interesting situation. I coached for 28 years and taught school at Buchholz High School and Gainesville High School, and I coached 1 year on Santa Fe's 91 state championship team. I was the head football coach at Gainesville High School in the late 80s. I was the athletic director at Buchholz in the 90s. I taught PE and math. I was an Algebra 1, Algebra 2 teacher. That's how I know Mr. Jones. He taught right next door to me at Gainesville High School. So we had some interesting times, but don't let him get to this microphone and tell you anything. Okay? You promise me that? Because he will tell you. So, okay. What about our school district? I'm proud of our school district. And since I've been on the board, we've got through the recession. That wasn't easy. We passed a $1 million surtax that helped us get through there, and I was very proud of that. When I was there, I said we'd have a strategic plan. We have a strategic plan that's led us. We also, I said I'd raise salaries for our teachers and employees, which I'm very proud of. We've jumped over 11 districts in ranking and have our highest ranking for our teachers in over 20 years. And that is important because we don't have as many people going into this profession. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We don't have as many people going into the profession, and we got to compete with other districts for the services. Let me give you an example. 5 years ago, 4,000 people applied for jobs in Alachua County. This year, 500 did. So we have got to compete, and we have to continue to raise the salaries. Back when I first got elected to school board, the big issue was graduation. Well, we've increased graduation. It's above the state average. Our African-American graduation rates in the last 5 years have increased 17%. So that's another promise kept. Back when I first was elected to board in 2010, it was vocational education. Now it's career tech education. Said we'd increase this. Now, this is amazing, I think. In the last 4 years, we've increased participation, almost doubled it in that time. It's gone from 17% of our students participating in career tech education to 33%. That way they can have another way. You know, you don't have to go to college and get a college degree and be a lawyer or a school teacher. You can do other jobs and make good living, and that's what we're trying to get done. Besides that, I said that we have some priorities. The first thing, we do want to keep your children safe, and we want to keep our employees safe. That is very important. That's the number one priority. What have we done? We have a school resource officer, at least one. In the bigger schools, we have 2, like Buchholz, Eastside, Gainesville High School. And in the schools, we've had active shooter training. They call it Alice. I always tell people that I don't have to take Alice training because my mother was named Alice. I had it all my life. So that we have that. And we also have trained our students. So we did that active shooter training. And then we also address the mental health part of the program. We are hiring social workers. More social workers will free up our counselors so they can actually counsel our students. And if we find something wrong, we have what we call our system of care. Our system of care is something we put in about 3 years ago. It's very innovative, and people in the state are now copying it, where we can hit the families, the parents, and the child to where they could go to get the help and not be floundering around, not knowing where to go. So we consider that very, very, very important. Now, besides that priority, the other priority we have is the half-cent sales tax, which I realize you all supported that. We were here a couple of weeks ago. I couldn't be here that night. That's why I appreciate you having me here again tonight, and we appreciate that you helping us with this. I'm sure they told you in the last 10 years they reduced our millage, reduced other capital outlay funding to $168 million, and our schools are in disrepair. So we thank you very much. We look forward to passing that. I appreciate you having me here tonight. I really do. I think it's a great school and a great community you live in. My wife loved it here, and I could see why. Like I said, it's a hidden gem, your school, and it's we want to make all our schools a hidden gems. We are 2 points below being an A overall for our district. I could tell you a bunch of other stuff we're implementing, but I don't want to stay here all night. Neither do you want me to stay out there all night. But again, thank you very much. I know this. Your Madam, can I call you Madam Chair or Madam Vice Chair or what? Linda?
Linda.
Anyway, like I said, she's Bob and Linda are dear friends of mine, and they're great people, and you're lucky to have such a person up on your board. I don't know if you're as lucky to have this guy here. I've got the mic now, so I get to get here. Anyway, thank you very much. Vote on November 6th. I hope you vote for me, but then again, vote. You got to vote for a lot of things. You know, we live in a great country, and we need to take advantage of something we have that not everybody in the world has. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Gunnar.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a proclamation celebrating the 50th anniversary of Municipal Home Rule.
Madam Chair, I'd be happy to read that if you'd like me to. This is whereas a proclamation of the City of High Springs, whereas the citizens of Florida voted to amend Article 8 of the Florida Constitution on November 5, 1968 to include authority for municipal home rule powers as part of the comprehensive revision of the state constitution undertaking that year. And whereas this power has enabled each city, town, and village across the Sunshine State to consider, adopt, revise, or remove its own laws without the need to seek legislative permission from the state, and has further served as the foundation upon which every municipality builds its governmental structure. And whereas Articles 8, Section 2 of the Florida Constitution provides that any municipality may conduct municipal government, perform municipal functions, and render municipal services, and may exercise any power for municipal purposes except as otherwise provided by law. And whereas a half-century is a momentous anniversary and should be recognized and celebrated so all Floridians and future generations will understand, appreciate, and uphold this constitutional authority, and who, in turn, will be supporters, protectors, and defenders of this cherished municipal power. Now, therefore, yourself, as our chair, Linda Jones, on the 25th day of October, hereby encourages all municipalities to join us in celebrating the milestone of the 50th anniversary of Municipal Home Rule. Signature for yourself and attested by Angela Stone, our Deputy City Clerk. Appropriate motion is to pass the proclamation as read by its entirety.
Any discussion?
I'll make a motion that we pass the proclamation as read.
Second.
It has been motioned and seconded that we pass the proclamation. Do we have to do this by vote? Not a proclamation?
Resolution.
We don't have to. I usually do
Okay.
votes.
I mean by roll call.
Roll
I'm sorry, I
call.
said by vote.
Yeah, roll call.
Okay.
No roll call.
No, okay.
No,
All
you
those
don't
in
have
favor
to.
say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So passes.
Send a copy to Kennedy.
Yes, with big capital letters.
Thank you.
Under continued business, item number 1, consider purchase of a replacement compressor/cascade system for the fire department.
This item has been before you a couple times. We didn't have the exact amount that we were getting from the insurance company. We now have that amount at $15,000. We are going to purchase a new one. This is a cascade system that puts air into their bottles when they go into a burning building. And so we could buy a used one for $15,000. However, it probably wouldn't last a couple of years, so we might as well buy a new one, since half of it's being paid for by the insurance company, and that should last for 25 years, and we will find the money in the budget. So it's not going to be an unfunded request. The budget will come in there. You'll see it again, because we'll have to bring it before you because it's over 5,000.
Yeah, we actually have some capital outlay money in the fire,
Sure.
and he is getting a grant. He just found out that grant, so the air packs that he normally would be buying, he's pretty sure he's going to get them through a grant. So we'll just ship that money to pay for the balance.
So we would
Okay,
have a
so-
$20,700 outlay on our part.
Correct.
Okay, that sounds good. The grant will help out?
Well,
Yes.
How long
indeed.
does this equipment last approximately?
This will probably go for about 25 years. It was hit by
By
lightning, and that's why we got the 15,000.
Okay.
Okay. All right, I will. I will make. Huh? Yeah, sure.
It's your turn.
All right, not a problem. I will make a motion that the purchase of the replacement compressor / cascade system for the fire department be approved.
I'll second that.
It has been moved and seconded that we purchase the compressor system for the fire department. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So passes. Unfinished business. Consider approval of contract with Michael Gallipo for contractual inspection services.
This too has been in front of you before.
Yes.
As good as the inspector we have is, he cannot keep up with all the buildings that are coming forward, and therefore we have an on-call, and that's what this contract is an on-call individual that when we need him, we'll bring him in. And so we've talked about it. The contract is now before you, and so you need to approve it.
So the contract looks great. The only thing is it doesn't have any payment thing. Does he submit an invoice to us, Bill, and they get paid on the same payroll schedule that payroll does, or how does that work?
Mike has usually been submitting an invoice to us weekly,
Okay.
and it takes us about 2 weeks to get it turned around.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just a normal cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that he's covered because there's no payout in this contract. I just want to make sure.
No, it's a,
like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we paid on
Right.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Works out pretty well.
Great.
Any questions,
No,
Madam Mayor?
the cost is because of all the building that's coming in, all the
He's gonna
building
need the
permits,
help.
which
You're generating the revenue, so we won't question it.
Well, it's we're generating revenue. Of course, with revenue comes a lot more responsibilities in our department. So we just trying to cover everybody, get it done,
right.
and we're lucky to have Mike. I mean, he has the certifications we're looking for. He has the demeanor we're looking for, and I don't know if has everybody seen Mike or met Mike? Stand up, Mike.
I met him yesterday.
Mike Gallipo.
I've seen him.
And he
I've met him,
lives
but
in
I've seen
town
him.
too. He lives in High Springs too.
Yeah, he's
I
only lived here
found
24 years, so kind of
I'm at the old McLeod house down the street.
a new guy, but
Hey, right close by too.
I actually volunteer.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're getting busier. I mean, the city's growing. We received a site plan for Peyton's Preserve just today.
Yes.
So they want to break ground in December. So we're moving.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Any
All
questions?
right, welcome.
Thank you.
I say
That
let's.
sounds like a yes vote to me.
I'll make a motion. You want me to do it or you want to do it?
They're arguing
Okay,
over
they get finished talking down there.
Okay.
We ready? Okay, then I will make a motion that the contract for
Michael.
contractor inspector services be approved.
I will second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the contract with Michael Galapo, for contractual inspection services. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
You're going too fast for us, Linda.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'm new at this, I haven't.
No, I'm
No,
saying
you got it. Go right ahead.
we're going through this quick. We're doing good.
Okay, we're at citizens' requests and comments. No one comes forward?
Nobody
Move to
moves.
New business.
Okay.
Discuss and consider approval of agreement with Oak Ridge subdivision.
Madam Chair,
That's your turn.
okay. Madam Chair, this is an agreement that we drafted. City staff, your manager, your building inspector, finance, has all been involved in this. And the basic gist of it is we're trying to get over the goal line. There's about 9 houses in Oak Ridge that are in a state of non-completion. And the problem is and has been that there are infrastructure improvements that need to be conducted that need to finish out phase 2. And so the homeowners association is represented by a lady lawyer by the name of Julie Nime, and she is trying to assist the homeowners in getting the infrastructure improvements done. The infrastructure improvements have been identified by CHW, which is a local engineering firm. They do very good work, and they have estimated the cost to be about $76,000 to get these improvements done. There's sidewalk improvements that need to be done. There's some drainage, stormwater drainage that needs to be lifted up. They've got it engineered and constructed improperly. Giving you a little more history, there was a builder that decided to try to save money and shave some of the things that should have been done. He fired the horizontal constructor, Shear Construction, off of the job, unfortunately, because they generally do very good work, and decided to do these things himself. And he got into more and more trouble as he was taking on more work, and it just turned into a bit of a morass. Your manager got wind of it and said, look, stop work. We're going to stop everything until we get this thing situated and get it done right. Well, the developer that was involved basically went defunct, and so the situation has just labored on for, I think it's been maybe a little over a year now that it's
2 years.
2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Time flies when we're having fun. So the gist of it is that this is not the city's fault. There's nothing here that the city has done that has created the situation. And in fact, as we sit here right now, we're trying to develop a methodology that we can get these things done. It should not come out of the city's pocket. It should come out of developer pockets. There are people that have invested a lot of money into this that hopefully can recoup at least some of their investment, if not make a profit. That's up to them. That's private industry, and we want that to happen. But this is not city requirements to fix this problem. So we're asking whoever it is, whether it's the homeowners group or other developers that can finish out these 9 houses. Now, if you stop and think, each of these houses is selling for a couple $100,000 a piece. So there's a lot of money at play, and there should be room. I don't know the finances. I don't think your manager knows but there should be room to get this done, considering there's about $76,000 that needs to be finished out here. So we've drafted this agreement that basically recites all of what I've just told you and attaches the engineering report to require whoever it is to get this done. We're willing to do all kinds of things to ensure that it gets done, from a cash bond that goes into attorney's trust account, from buying a surety bond. We don't care, just so long as it gets done and we're assured that it gets done. That's what we're trying to have happen. Bill Whitelock, our building inspector, has gone through the agreement. He's made suggestions. He's identified the things from the city's perspective that needs to be done. as late as just a few hours ago, I was on the phone with Julie Name and said, where are we at from your perspective? Some of their financing has gone away, so they're still trying to get that put together. She said, please do not have the agreement acknowledged and signed off and approved by the city tonight, because we're just not there yet from the homeowner's standpoint. So we felt, city staff felt, it's best still to bring this in front of you, give you an update of where we're at. In my view, city is being very cooperative and trying to do everything we can do to get it done. And if you identify a problem, well, we'll try to lawyer around it and get it fixed. But that's where we're at right now. And so from an informational standpoint, we're just kind of bringing you up to speed and where we're at. So several things I think you can take from this. First of all, the city stopped a problem and we protected the citizenry by saying, look, we're going to issue stop work orders, and we're not going to allow a problem to get worse and to become a bigger problem. So that's number one that you should take away from this. Number two, building inspection, your building permit department is cooperating and doing what is necessary. You knock on his door and he's going to open the records, and there's an ask for some of our records. He's gathering those up, and we'll get you the records that you need, and we're an open book. So that's number two. Number three, we are trying to come up with a methodology to get this fixed, and it's not the city's financial requirements or problem. You all need to figure out a way to fix this. Once we get this done, we can move on to phases 3 and 4. What were phases 3 and 4, but the original agreement that we are operating under is defunct and also gone away. We sent out a letter year and a half, 2 years ago that said we're vitiating, we're abrogating, stopping our development agreement that we had. You're going to have to get a new development agreement, new plat, new subdivision, surety bond. All of those things are going to have to be done if you want to go. And that's really kind of a separate issue from what this is. This is to finish out phase 2. But if you want to move into phase 3 and 4, we would love to see it. We are development friendly, but you're going to have to do it the right way. You can't try to slide through like the developer that went defunct was trying to do, and you got to have the right people doing the horizontal improvements, and it needs to be done in the proper manner. So that, I think that brings you full speed of where we're at right now, and this is on the agenda. If we had gotten the message back from the homeowners association that everything was good and they're ready to go forward, we'd be trying to go for approval tonight. But she said we're not at that point, and we said, okay, we'll respect that, and you tell us when we are, and we'll move forward as quickly as we possibly can. So that brings you up to speed.
It was interesting reading. I mean, my goodness, it's been through a lot. But would we be able to get a copy of the exhibits?
Certainly. Yes.
We got a copy of the contract, but if we could have a copy of the exhibits, I think that would help us as well.
Absolutely. I'm happy to get that, and we will get that over to you. City's closed tomorrow, but we'll have it by Monday for you. But you're right. I mean, if you look up tortured history in the dictionary, you will see this.
I bet you'll find that it's interesting.
This is the poster child for it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right.
This is how it's not supposed to go forward.
But at least it's stopped until it's fixed.
That's right. That's right.
And that's the main thing. It wasn't allowed to continue to get worse and worse and worse. And that's a definite positive. So we can take it from there.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
So we don't need.
Nothing to do or no
just
vote.
Information.
Just information. That's right.
The next item. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Consider amendment to PDC position.
Right, we already have one position, full-time, that is, half of it is to Bruce, half of it is to the building department. What we're going to do is take that one full-time position and make 2 part-time positions, one being a code enforcement person, part-time, and the other one will do the administrative work for Bruce. And so there's no really increase in the number of employees. We're just bringing it to you that we're telling you that we're we're changing it out from one full-time to two part-time.
2 half-time.
So will it be two different people?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And also because there is not specifically in the budget a code enforcement person, and that's why Mr. Booth wanted to bring it. So just,
Right.
it was listed
Okay.
as an admin, so it's going to be admin in Bruce's, but under the PDC is going to be a code enforcement,
But it's a half a person
which
in
is
each
a half the
spot.
person, yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
I think that's good. We need code enforcement. It's been an ongoing need, and
Oh, it
so we,
We definitely
Bill
need it.
doesn't have the staff to support that, and getting someone that's dedicated to that. 4 hours a day, is that what it is? Or how does that work? 20 hours a week? How you working that?
Well, you work for me, you work when I call you.
And you should live close, right?
No, we'll probably do 2 days a week.
Okay.
And what we're really looking for is a person to go out there and start him as a technician and not as a certified code enforcement officer. And that way they can learn the ins and outs of code enforcement. We'll still do the administrative portions of it. We'll still take it to the special magistrate, and we'll put the cases together. But what we really lack right now is somebody out there in the community putting their hands on, talking to people, figuring this stuff out. We just don't have time. We really don't. I think that this is a step towards possibly a full-time code enforcement person in the next budget year. Depends on how this position goes. But yeah, we're going to also take this person. They will probably do some administrative stuff as time goes by.
I'm glad to see it, because I've been complaining about code
You
enforcement.
complain to me all the time.
Huh? I know, I complain a lot.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
If you're ready, then I'm going to make a motion.
Okay.
Okay, that we approve the amendment to the PDC position.
I will second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded to consider the amendment to the PDC position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Mr. Attorney?
Madam Chair, I don't want to steal Commissioner Lavin's. We appeared Tuesday morning in front of the county commission, and if you plan to go over that, I'm not going to cover it. It's up to, or we can cover it
It
now.
doesn't matter
jointly.
as long as somebody does. so.
Okay, well, we'll do it jointly right now. City staff, Christina Wright was there on behalf of the city. Nancy Lavin was there on behalf of the commission. Ed, of course, was there, and myself and Rich were present, and finance was there. So we had a full city staff presentation Tuesday morning. Nancy started it off and talked about all the good things that the CRA is doing. I'm going to let her talk about that part of it. Thought it was a very effective presentation, and Christina also presented, and she also gave a lot of specifics, which is what the county was looking for specifically. They're really focused on infrastructure improvements. That's really where they're at, and they gave us an extension for a year. That's the good news. The bad news is, and we get our grant of authority through the county, so we're kind of a captive audience in this situation, and we have to, much like when the state mandates certain budgetary things, are they always pushing issues on local governments, and now we have to take more of the financial responsibility. I feel like that's a kind of a good example of what's happening with the county to us, and we take the right to have the TIF funding under the CRA is based upon county approval. So that's the nature of this negotiation. And in a lot of ways, we don't have a lot of ability to push the negotiation. So we have to, if we want a CRA, then we have to go through that process. And I think city staff did a very effective way in presentation, and we got the motion and approval to extend our CRA for 1 year. But with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Lavin about what the specifics were with the process.
They want us to reduce our administrative and operating costs to below 50% of the ongoing revenues annually, not including any monies brought forward. So we have to do some budget adjustments, which Jennifer was there, Mr. Booth was there. We've got a preliminary talking about meeting set up for next week. So next CRA meeting, we can make decisions. They want to see us using that money, that carry forward money, to do capital improvement and infrastructure, and they want to see it done quickly. We did get the approval for 1 year, with the second year being extended on a consent agenda, meaning we would automatically get it if we meet the criteria that they establish, and then we would have to present before them 2 years from now for the remainder of that, which would be 11 years at that time. It's a 13-year period. Hopefully, we'll have everything fine-tuned by then. I think the shift of a new CRA director was a good thing. Christina, the meeting she set up that we went and talked to each commissioner, I think was very useful because they knew what we were coming in with. And then after we have our meeting regarding what we're going to do capital projects, then I guess we can discuss bringing that next piece of the Douglas neighborhood and all that. We referenced it, but it wasn't part of what we did the other day because we were trying to meet and satisfy all of those commissioners and what they wanted to see and what their expectations were. So we have that 1 year renewal. We'll go to consent agenda that next year as long as we've met the requirements with their Office of Management and Budget. And then we'll go before them in 2 years for that additional 11 years. I think that covers everything that we had there.
A very good summation. And of course, you don't want lawyers doing math. You want Jennifer doing math work. But my calculation is we're going to have to cut our administrative costs by about $50,000 in the CRA. So that's the nature of what we're talking about. They're throwing more. The more investment is going to have to come from. He's going to have to figure out budgetary things to do to take up that shortfall. That shortfall. That's the nature of what's going on there. But I think Nancy made a really good point. After the caucus, the potential for your CRA to gain more revenues as the snowball rolls down the hill, and you have more improvements, and particularly in the commercial neighborhoods, not so much in the residential, but in commercial improvements, you get more improvement value and that's where your TIF funding grows. So when that happens, then the 50% revenues also grows for your administrative costs. So hopefully this is one of those things that's going to fix itself, but it's not going to be an immediate fix. That's the nature of the problem that we have.
I think Jennifer's already got some of the solutions worked out on
Mr. Booth and I have talked about some of the things that we're going to change that we'll bring back to the commission because they're going to have to be voted on because it'll be an amendment to their budget. But yeah, I think we might be really close to that already. And there's probably a couple other things that we can cut.
And a lot of those line items are estimates, and that's not really what we spend at the end of the year.
Correct.
It's just, so we just need to make sure at the end of the year we're at that magic number. That's all, so that we don't end up
shooting. We will also work with their staff.
Now that we know who we need to talk to.
Yeah, I think we were undercut a little bit by the staff there, right. and now we'll go there and work with them. So when we get in front of the council, the staff will be in lockstep.
Christina did not actually get the information, the delineation of the information until the night before we were actually hearing. She didn't get to the guy that had the answer. Yeah. And so it was like 4 o'clock Monday afternoon, and we were like, what? Because the other person we've been dealing with and the person in the Office of Management and Budget, well, I'm not sure this is what they want to see. Well, what do they want to see? So that's kind of what she's been doing for the last few weeks is going around in circles.
Specifically was the rollover money. We had several $100,000 that we rolled over. And by state law, you can use that as part of your calculations on what your admin costs are. The county doesn't use that. They have their own formula that we found out the night before the meeting. And so there wasn't anything we could do. You know, that's called an ambush. But anyway, we can meet the requirements now, and I think we'll work with the staff, and I think it'll be okay.
And I also think the fact that we went and talked to them and they know this bigger vision that we're trying to do some real substantial changes is what helped
Right.
us to the finish line, because you know, the three that were there voting, we kind of got it was an interesting meeting because one of the commissioners had to leave before we presented, and so the three that were voting were all people that were really excited about this new Douglas area, the Community Resource Center. So I think that was a real plus to us that they were able to look at that we were going to do something bigger if they just gave us the time to do it.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Like to talk about projects. I've got a few pictures. We've started the project. This is the lift station. It goes down 27 feet because it has to pick up all the sewer lines going to it. No water, even rocks. They did find a water line, and we have replaced that. And so they are working on Friday. So between David and I, we'll switch off on Fridays because we need to watch them because that big machine tears up our water lines really easily. And we need to be there when they do that so we can repair them and move on. We have all the equipment in place, and they're moving forward.
Can I ask you something? If
Yes.
they tear up water lines, do we pay for that or they pay for that?
Well, if we have marked them, then they have to pay for it.
Okay.
If they're unmarked, like the one they tore up there, that we don't have, we have some of a clue of where our water lines are, but there's a lot we don't.
Okay.
And so,
It depends. It
in
depends.
fact, this one we rerouted. I mean, it was, we had two lines feeding the same thing, and we were able to cut that out. So
Okay.
we're going to find where a lot of our water lines are in that area, especially. So, so that keeps on. The other project is railroad, and that's being worked on now. And we expect that to happen within the next 6 weeks. But they're out there diligently putting rock and grading it. On the 1st of November, I have a meeting with Swanee River along with Midtower, and we're going to discuss the upcoming projects. We have a lot of them funded, like the wetlands and this project, but there is the expansion to the sewer plant. There is phase 2 that we've got money to design. We need to make sure that the money is there so that the company really would like to go from one project to another. And I guess if they keep their price right, Swanee River's okay with it, they can do it.
They can do it. Okay.
And so there's a lot of numerous projects that we want to make sure that we're in line to be funded. But somewhere along the line, funds are going to dry up. I mean, that's just bound to happen. And so we would like to get our share now.
Get what we can, right?
Where we can.
Yes, indeed. Get what we can.
Right.
Okay.
And that's about it. Oh, there is one thing. I'm sorry. I need to talk about the Maximus study. All right. This is a study that says that if you are the fire department, you have to give us a certain amount of money to do your admin. And it covers the entire city. It's about 3 years old, and we need to update that. It's under 5,000. We will find the money in the budget, and so we're bringing it forward. What we're going to do is, what would drive it over 5,000 is if we do an actuary table on the retirement that would throw it well over the 5,000 or under my authority. But we're just going to put a letter in the audit that really says that our retirement is by the state, and they do all that. All we do is contribute, and they tell us what to.
Actually, what he's talking about, so we have the transfer, and that's part of what Mr. Booth was talking about, was not requiring the CRA to do that transfer piece. So when they do the actuarial, and I guess we're going to have to bring that back to get that voted on to take the CRA out of the transfer.
Right.
But they'll do the whole study. They'll show what the CRA should transfer, but based on what you all vote on, we wouldn't do that. And that they're running about 2,500. He's estimating for that one, and the other one will bring, as Mr. Booth said, it's a statement that says. Like 3 or 4 pages that would have to go in the financial statements, and I'll bring it, and it'll be in the packet for next meeting. But it's for, as he said, it's for benefits for retirees, and it's an actuary that makes no sense. And actually, when I was at class last week, every one of the people say it is the hardest thing to try to explain to a commission what it is. But it's this liability they want you to put on the books that says that if you have retirees, the difference between what you pay for health insurance and what because they're older, are raising it, is going to take care of it.
Do you offer post-retirement health insurance?
Yes, that's what it is.
But do you offer it just through COBRA, or do they get it long-term if they retire?
Right now, we only offer it through COBRA.
So you just do 18 months? Correct. You don't have post-retirement extended benefits?
No.
Okay.
You can. There is something, because I know Ginger got something from, like a little stipend that you get from FRS.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a monthly, for so many years that you're here, there's a monthly amount that you get for each year.
But that's not OPEB. So
that doesn't come out of us.
No.
That's FRS.
So this liability, so now there's a new GASB standard that says that, there's these new things. So what it costs is $3,000 this year, $1,500 next year. $3,000, $1,500. And I've talked with our auditors, and there's a lot of small towns can't afford it, so they're putting this on in. But we'll bring it back to the next meeting. But
because you don't have a huge liability there.
There's nobody that takes our benefits. They actually can stay on our group plan if they wanted to, but nobody does. We have no retirees. And basically what it came about when the recession happened in 2007, 2008, and then it also, when they changed for police officers, because they can retire younger, they thought, well, they'll stay on, and it'll drive the cost up. Well, how do you determine, especially, we have kind of an older workforce, so I know.
I think they're all young.
I'm really looking at you because I'm older than. So how do you determine what the amount would be? So it's just, like I said, it is one of the most hardest things to explain. But what would go in the financial statements, I will have an example in the next meeting's pack. But as Mr. Booth said, the Maximus study is the one that's the transfers that determine how much, and that one is going to be about $2,500, and we'll find that not in contingency, not in the general fund, but in operating. So
now part of the Maximus study is the city will absorb the cost we usually put against CRA, and that's one of the methods that we're looking to do, and we'll certainly talk about that next week.
I think we have a meeting next Thursday.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Next Thursday, I'm sorry, we'll talk about it next Thursday. But I think we have a way, of course, the city absorbs some of the cost that we could get below that That's all. Well, that's it. Well, that's
First
good.
Friday next week, we have a First Friday event, and I'm sorry I didn't bring my paper. It's about giving, and we're asking people to bring canned goods to help support St. Madeline's, and the stores will be given a discount if people bring canned goods. We're hoping to get some traffic down there. Gloria will be talking about all the chamber things that are coming up close behind that, but the first Friday then in December is going to go along with the giving theme. So they're going to be the next couple months about giving, and the same the 5 to 8 p.m. Okay.
I have nothing for you today.
Oh, my, okay. Well, I just have, since we have a school board member out there, Bob and I attended our grandson's kindergarten walk, city walk. We went to the police station, the museum, the library, the fire station, and Officer Downing does an absolutely wonderful job in protecting our students. Man, he was here and there. We lost track of him sometimes. He was down here. He and some other staff. There were some other police officers as well. But Officer Downing did a super job in keeping our students safe, and students were so well behaved, and we were able to see all of these activities. The kids were so excited. So it was just a nice morning, and it was a cooler morning, thank goodness, for us to walk into town from the school. So I just want to let you know that things are, and the police department does a great job in protecting our students. That's all I have.
Then I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Good, I like that.
I like it.